Boys and girls, the FM21 Streamer Showdown is back today for Season 3. I missed Season 2, but I did win Season 1 of the FM21 edition to add to the 4 I won in FM20, making me Kevy 5 times. No one else has ever won it more than once. So what I'm about to show you here is the team that you can probably expect to go on and win Season 3 over the course of this weekend and make me Kevy 6 times, which means I'll need to grow an extra finger. We'll figure something out. Hello folks and welcome to my now traditional pre-season look at my Streamer Showdown squad that I drafted back on Wednesday night over on Twitch, twitch.tv/LOLLUJO. This is the squad that I am going to be taking into the league format tonight over on Twitch and the knockout rounds tomorrow night. And by bedtime tomorrow, I should have been crowned as Kevy 6 times and be reigning as the champion again. The other competitors involved this time, links to who you will find down in the description of this video. As you can see on screen, we've got Chesnoid, we've got Clates, Dr. Benji, Dupe, Fox in the Box, Omega Luke, Sweet Left Foot, and Zealand. Notable by their absence, Season 2 champion when I wasn't playing, FNG. He's played in 3 tournaments now. He's never played in 1 that I was in. Somebody's ducking Kev. He's afraid of me. But I will reclaim the title that he won last time and I won the time before. And over the course of this weekend, if you want to make sure you get to watch all of the action, of course, you can watch everything from my perspective on my Twitch channel, which, as mentioned, is twitch.tv/LOLLUJO, or you can keep up to date with everything that's going on at the Lowdown channel, which is linked down below. It's twitch.tv/FM Streamer Showdown. It's like Soccer Saturday, but with Nerdphonic and other people. So what more could you possibly want? Make sure you come and check it out. If you've never seen the Streamer Showdown, it's lots of fun and it's sponsored by KFC. So there's lots of chicken puns too. But without further ado, let's have a look around my squad. If you want to see the other squads, I'm sure the other competitors will be making videos similar to this on their channels as well. So you can go and check them out over there. For this video, we're just focusing on my boys. You can see I've got a few formations in mind already, but first let's meet the squad. And I've been ridiculed once again because Kev's got a weak squad apparently. I've made videos on the channel before explaining why it always appears like I've got a weak squad. It's actually because I have a strong squad, because I go for 18 players. I wouldn't be upset about starting any of these 18 in the final on Sunday night. I don't have any super duper superstars. I do have some talent within the team, but I've made sure that I've got multiple options for each position, lots of players who can play in multiple positions. I think this is a very good squad. If we sort it by ability to see who our best players are, our best player is the guy I got on my randomly selected wild card. Rather than picking our own wild cards this time, we were randomly allocated them. I got David Alaba, and I couldn't be much happier, unless that was Virgil van Dijk. But actually looking at the build, at the makeup of the rest of my squad, Alaba offers me a lot more than Van Dijk would have done. I've got plenty of centre-backs. What I didn't have is someone who could play in all of those positions and offer me even more cover at a world-class level. So having Alaba in is great. The rest of the squad are all drafted from Serie A and La Liga. They were the rules this time. Draft 17-man squads from La Liga and Serie A. And we had a £500 million budget to do it. So you can see that once again, I've focused my best players on making sure that we're defensively solid and good at set pieces and counter-attacking. So we've got pacey, skillful attackers, but we don't need the likes of Messi or Ronaldo or Haaland to do the system that we want to do. We want to be solid at the back, which is why 2 of our best 5 players are Koulibaly and Chiellini. Chiellini particularly notable for the fact that he has a 19 rating for long throws, and the player trait possesses long flat throw. I've done a few tests with Chiellini. He can regularly do a long throw that reaches the far post. They've said long throws have been killed for Season 3 of the Streamer Showdown. I think they have been for everybody else, but we've got Chiellini. We're going to be doing long throws to that far post all weekend long, as long as he stays fit. He's 35. And the guy we're going to be aiming for is one of the top scorers of season 2 when Fox in the Box had him, Sergej Milinkovic-Savic, who was my first draft pick. He's in our top 5 ability-wise. I'm expecting goals galore from him. I think he got 11 goals in season 2 for Lee, playing in a strikerless system as a shadow striker, getting on the end of his long throws, getting on the end of his corners, and just generally making a nuisance of himself, playing in that role, which, as you can see, he is really rather suited for. And that's definitely how I'm going to be looking to employ him this weekend. The other member of my top 5 is Federico Valverde, who gives me more defensive solidity. Plus, he's a top-tier box-to-box midfielder as well. Exactly the kind of midfielders that I'm looking for. Elsewhere in the squad, Zaniolo, along with Pedro and Belotti and Pellegrini. These are all veterans from my Season 1 winning side. Zaniolo was fantastic in that tournament and can play anywhere in midfield or across the attacking midfield 3. He did have a wild red card for me in season 1, but he was a very, very good player for me, as was Pedro, who provides cover in all of these areas. I said during the live streams for season 1, I'd rather have Pedro than Messi. I stand by it because Pedro's a third of the price of Messi, which means I can spend more money on other areas of the squad. And Pedro has never let me down coming off of that bench. Belotti, a few question marks raised about Belotti being my only out-and-out striker in the squad. If you saw my Leicester series in the beta, you know how I can get the best out of Belotti, bearing in mind he was part of a Leicester squad that also included Haaland, Neymar, Werner, and Belotti was unquestionably the most effective goal scorer I had in that squad during that save. I can get 40 goals a season in the Premier League out of Belotti. Belotti will score goals for us in this showdown and was a bargain buy. The one I really rolled the dice on, and I think it could potentially be a make or break, is Ansu Fati. I spent £50 million on Ansu Fati. I am hoping for a lot from him. He is our main pacey attacking threat. He has bags of potential, which normally I wouldn't go for in the showdown, but sometimes they can come in and surprise you. And bearing in mind we weren't able to draft in the likes of Vardy, Werner, Rashford, the kind of players that I normally like who are able to be pacey attackers playing out on the wings. We weren't able to go for that kind of player. So Fati, I think from what I had available to me in La Liga and Serie A, kind of fits into that Rashford and Werner mould, and I'm hoping can be as effective as the two of those. If that draft pick doesn't come off, I'm going to have problems. I do have Munir, who can potentially try and do the similar sort of things. I went for a couple of players. Munir's not quite as quick, though, but might be better suited to play as the centre forward if we were to lose Belotti. And outside of that, we've just gone for solid squad players who can kind of come in and out of the team interchangeably. Elizondo is a backup centre-back. Very happy with that. Pellegrini is a very, very solid midfielder who I actually drafted to be a backup for me in season 1, and he ended up starting almost every game as we won the tournament because he was just fantastic. He fits into my system perfectly, so he's upgraded as a starter for my draft picks this time round. Danilo gives us lots of strength in depth at the back, can play centre-back if he absolutely has to, can also play full-back on either side. Also, Hysaj can play full-back on either side. If I'd have known I was getting Alaba as my wild card, I probably wouldn't have drafted this guy. I would have gone for another forward, but not knowing what wild card I was going to get, I felt I needed the extra cover for either fullback position. But realistically, he's now our second choice right back, third choice left back. So he's probably not going to get much game time. Likewise, Marcos Acuna, his spot in the squad has kind of been taken away by Alaba appearing, and he's going to be used very much as a backup. But all up and down the left-hand side. I mean, it's a handy player to have who can play anywhere naturally up and down that left-hand side. And then a backup goalkeeper who is perfectly acceptable and probably won't play at all. Tactics-wise, I've got 3 systems in mind. That I think the thing that everyone's expecting me to play is a 4-2-3-1. If we just quickly stick some players in here and then just shuffle them around a little bit to how I'm likely to use them, I think that's probably there or thereabouts. This probably will be what I start with on Saturday night. Asenio in goal, a back four of Alaba, Chiellini, Koulibaly and Danilo. Pellegrini and Valverde in midfield. Fati, Milinkovic-Savic, Zaniolo supporting Belotti up front. My one concern I've potentially got with this is that they could very easily get in each other's way, so it might end up becoming something more like that, or they could be the other way round, or we might end up toying with some other things. And I think what I'm thinking is if I can't get Belotti and Milinkovic-Savic to work without getting in each other's way, we might switch fairly early on to this, which is I've called it my defensive tactic, but really it's just an alternate. If we can't get Milinkovic-Savic working directly in behind Belotti, we just drop Valverde back, we drop SMS back, and we have him running forward from midfield as a Mazzala, and getting into these spaces a little bit more, and maybe not being quite so much in Belotti's way, Zaniolo and Fati cutting in off the wing, and just, I think it gives everybody a little bit more space to work in. So we'll probably start with this one. We might end up using this one, but I do have a bit of a wild card third option that I'm going to do some testing with before the tournament starts. And I think it could end up being something that works really rather well if we just shuffle around into exactly how we want it. I've called it the special one. It's like nothing I've ever used before. You know I love my preset tactics. This is obviously not a preset tactic, but I think this gives us the best of all worlds, really. It gives us a solid back four, or back five even, because you've got Alaba and Valverde who are going to be back there helping out Chiellini, Koulibaly. Danilo's going to bomb on this right-hand side. Zaniolo's going to come forward. Zaniolo, sorry, is going to come forward into these kind of areas, and kind of make it into, my theory is when we're attacking, it's going to be kind of a back two with Valverde in front, Alaba and Danilo pushing forward almost into a midfield with Valverde and Pellegrini to make it like a 2-4-4. When you then have Fati, Milinkovic-Savic, Belotti and Zaniolo as a four, really flooding forward up front. I think it might work. I don't actually know if it does work, so I need to test it first. The one thing that I am pretty confident is going to work, though, is this guy throwing the ball a long way onto the head of this guy. We're going for long throw city again, boys and girls, and fingers crossed it works, and everyone can get cross at me again and say, oh, you've won another one just with long throws. And I'll chuckle and say, any one of you could have filtered for long throw stats and realised there's a world-class centre-back who's got a 19 for long throws, and you too could have drafted him. But you didn't, you silly gooses. Make sure you join us tonight to see how I get on, to see if this special one tactic actually ends up working. I look forward to seeing you there. A splendid time we had by all, as ever. And yeah, make sure you come and check it out. If you've enjoyed this video, please make sure you leave a nice big thumbs up on there for me. Subscribe to the channel for daily Football Manager videos. Thank you very much for watching.